Good morning. What time is it? It's coffee time. Coffee chat time. Just catching you guys up on what's going on. Palm Springs is amazing. The mornings are so beautiful. So like that sunrise, you can't beat that. And the sunsets, beautiful. Lots of art there. Lots of happy men there. So if you're looking for a man, that's not the place to go. Men, if you're looking for a man, that's the place to go. If you understand what I'm saying. People are super friendly. You get a little crazy ones, that are like yelling at themselves in the middle of the night, fighting with no one. Those. And actually, I had a situation where I was at a gas station, and I know better than to get gas at nighttime at random gas stations. But I was just like, you know what? I need to get gas. I don't like having my tank empty before I go to bed. So I thought, you know what? Let me go ahead and fill up. I'll go to this one gas station. It was kind of like, not sketchy part of town, but there's nice areas, and there's just, you could just tell there's areas that are just, you don't want to be there at night. So I was there at night, and with my tank, where you pump it, you can't shut the door and lock it while it's in progress, because it's right there at the door. So I'm pumping my tank, and I see this guy on the corner, and he's talking to himself, he's doing just random stuff, and I'm fine with that, like he's far enough away, I don't have to worry. So I'm pumping my tank, and it's going super, super slow, like molasses. And I'm thinking, okay, I'm just being taught patience here, so I'm just going to be patient. So I'm being patient, and the guy starts coming towards me, and like slowly, and I'm thinking, okay, he's getting closer. So I get in my rig, I close the door, but I can't lock it, and there's no one else around, right? So I'm just like, okay, this is getting kind of uncomfortable. And then all of a sudden, out of the blue, when he gets really close to me, like within like a few feet, you hear somebody just yell. Like, I don't even know where it came from or who it was, but they just yell, and it catches his attention, and he just turns around and goes back to where he was. And I'm thinking, whoever that was, like, thank you. And I thought maybe it was a worker, that works there. But that was a woman working there. She was in the building, the cashier. And I'm thinking, that was not a woman's voice. And there's no other cars, there's no other people. And I'm just like, okay, I don't know who that was, but thank God. And so I just stopped pumping my gas right then and there. It was like, it wasn't even like moving. And I just, shut it down. Shut this thing down. We're getting out of here. So I think during that time, I don't know how long I was there, but I'm serious. That thing was like barely turning. And so I thought, I'll just get gas in the morning. So I left there. And then another weird thing that happened, and it was earlier in the day. I wanted to go to this one thrift store, but it was like on the other side of town. And I'm learning there's a good side and there's a bad side. And then there's a really exclusive side. So I didn't know it took me to the other side of town. I didn't know it was the bad side of town. So I'm going to the bad side of town because I want to go to this thrift store. And I pull in, have a hard time, parking. Parking is always an issue. And this guy is leaving, and he like motions for me to go, and I said no, because it's, I need to go in and back up, and it's a show, trust me. So he's watching me, and I'm like, go, and so he's supposed to leave, right? Instead, he parks and he waits, and then I maneuver and back in and park it, and I'm, the corner of my eye can just still see him. So I get on my phone and I'm just pretending like I'm, doing stuff on my phone. And I'm not getting out of the rig yet because I just don't feel like things are safe. So he gets out of his out of his car, and he walks straight up to my window. And I just kind of look at him like, can I help you? And I'm like, yes. And then he's like, he starts like looking at the rig and pointing and talking and stuff. And I'm like, roll down the window a little bit. And he's like, I'm from, I don't even remember, Kenya or something like that. And he goes, I would love to have, this and blah, blah, blah. And could you tell me, more about this and educate me, and what do you have in there, and I'd like to see. And I'm like, no, not the person to do that. I can't help you. I have dogs and I can't roll the window down any further, so you have to go. And he's like, oh, I'm good with dogs. Come on out. We go for a walk. And no, I am not going for a walk with you. And he just stood there. And I was just like, I'm out of here. Started my rig and I left. So you gotta always, don't be afraid to offend people. I've learned that. Don't be afraid to offend people. That's your safety, He could have done anything, So I have the responsibility of watching out for my dogs. They're like my children. If I had children, I would do the same thing. I would be like, no, you're not coming in, and I'm not going with you, and I'm out of here. No store, no shopping is important enough for, to compromise my safety. So be aware of your surroundings. Be aware of just weird stuff that happens, and don't be afraid to say no, what's the worst that could happen? You probably never see the person again, don't worry about offending them, so safety first. Anyways, I don't know how I got on that. And, but yeah, just, and just the other thing is, like, have protection throughout your rig, inside and out. There have been times when I've been in the back, outside, and looking for something, or even putting the dogs in, and I see somebody sketchy coming up. So make sure that you put stuff everywhere to where you can grab something to defend yourself if you have to. It's always best to be prepared, to have it and not to need to use it, than to need to use it and not have it, right? So, I plant things everywhere. And, even my lanyard that I have with my keys, I usually carry it around my neck, but I don't have it right now. I've got pepper spray on that. And I know pepper spray is like nothing, it's, it's good for like little dogs. That's about it. Anybody that's doing something bad is usually going to wear a mask. Right now it's so socially acceptable that you just don't even think about it, because of the whole, situation that's going on. It's like, if somebody's got a mask on, you just don't think anything. 2 years ago you would be like, I had one guy, I was at a park, and middle of the day, 2 o'clock in the afternoon, and nobody was there, but it was a really safe neighborhood. I'm very familiar with that area. Very safe neighborhood. So my guard was down. I didn't take my phone. I didn't take anything with me. And I'm walking the dogs. This one couple is there with their little baby, and they're walking, their little baby, and I stopped to talk to them. And so they knew that I was there alone. And thank God, because when I started to walk back to my rig, there was a guy, I'm assuming he's homeless. He was wearing a hoodie, a mask. He had a backpack on. He was wearing dark clothes, And it was warm that day. It was very hot that day. So it was like out of sorts that he would be covered up like that and wearing dark clothes and everything. I mean, you can wear dark clothes any day, but like, it was just really like, you just knew it wasn't like normal. And so, you know, when it's 100 degrees out, and not that it was 100 degrees, but it was like 90, and you've got a hoodie and mask and, you know, all black and a backpack, and you have a big stick, you're up to no good. And so he comes, I'm walking and I'm watching him, and he's looking around my rig. He's like just checking it out and stuff. And I'm thinking, okay, I can't walk back to my house until he leaves. And so I'm just watching him. And then that couple knew that I was alone, so they're watching him from the other direction, and they're keeping an eye on me. And I was just like, okay, what do I do? Like, I don't even have my phone. And so I walked to them, and they said, we're keeping an eye on things too. So and then the husband, he said, I'll walk you to your, you know, your vehicle, and that way you can get in and you can leave. So he walked me, and as soon as we got close enough to where that guy saw us, that guy like turned around and went and sat down on a bench and was like this. And I remember the wife said, do you want to call the police? And I said, and say what? Suspicious activity? Like, he hasn't done anything, you know? I mean, nowadays it's like, even if they do something, like, it has to be, you know, bad. And I'm like, you can't call the police and just say someone. Although I do take that back, because there are signs everywhere that say, see something, say something. So, but I don't know. I don't like those signs, because it's like, narc on your neighbor, you know, see something, say something. Like, everybody's so suspicious. Like, come on. You don't need to put a sign up that if you see something like really out of the ordinary, you are going to say something. Like, don't condition people to narc on their neighbors, you know, like, we're all supposed to be like united, you know. Anyways, enough of that. I can get on little rabbit trails and tangents, because I don't like that. I don't like separation. I don't like people, you know, being suspicious of one another. It's like, you know, love your neighbor. So anyways, yeah, the guy walked me to my rig, and I put the dogs in, got in, and left. And then I called the police. And I just thought, you know what, because school's getting out and kids are going to be walking alone, and I just want them to go check that guy out, see if he's okay, you know, like, you know, sometimes if somebody knows, like, if somebody knows that, like, they're being watched, they're more apt to, like, you know, think twice. So anyways, yeah, I've got a few of those little stories where it's like, things don't feel right. And I'm sure those things happen even if you're like, just, you know, you're living in your sticks and bricks and you're just driving to the store. You know, there's been people that have been like, you know, followed, or even like attempted kidnaps, you know, just in their regular vehicles. So it's not just, oh, this is just going to happen because you're living in a vehicle now, you know. But my point is just be aware, be prepared, and follow, you know, your gut. I used to just be so la la la, you know, like, just everything's good and everyone's good and you can trust everyone. And I haven't had anything, you know, bad happen, like, to where I've been traumatized by, you know, something where I'm on guard. You know, people have been really very good, and I'm good to people. And so that just hasn't been my reality, you know. But I'm realizing, like, I'm not in a bubble anymore. I'm out in the real world, and there are people that have other intentions. And so I'm getting to be more savvy and more aware, you know? I don't know. As a solo female traveler, especially, you've got to think about these things. So, anyways, I didn't mean to make it so heavy, man. Keep it light. I'm not trying to be like pessimistic or, you know, like scare people, but it's reality, you know? Anyways, I am going to hit the road and see where our next adventure takes us. Okay, bye guys.